how many people do you expect will be on these flights by, say, the end of the autumn? You say there's going to be a regular rhythm of flights starting in July. How regular? How many people each month?
Thanks, Hugo. As I said, I know there'll be lots of interest in the exact operational detail of what we're about to embark on. And I've tried very hard in my statement to give everyone a sense of the preparation work that's gone into this. And as much as I am able to say about the future, and that's for a very good reason, it's clear that there is a loud minority of people who will do absolutely anything and everything to disrupt this policy from succeeding. You only have to look at what's been going on in Parliament over the past few weeks and months with the Labour Party at every turn blocking progress on this bill. You saw that last week. You will see it again today.
This was supposed to be emergency legislation, but it's been 5 months and it's still not over the line. Is the House of Lords fit for purpose?
You talk about emergency legislation. We have worked at pace to deliver because I know and I believe that this is an incredibly important issue for the country. All right, people's patience has run out, as is mine. Right, they're fed up with the endless, whether it's legal merry-go-rounds, legislative merry-go-rounds, tired of this people trying to block this policy, and that's why when we got the judgment last year, and I think I stood here and spoke to you all when we had the judgment last year, I said, look, we disagree with it, but we respected it, and we worked rapidly to rectify it. Within a matter of weeks, James and the team, we had negotiated a new treaty with Rwanda to address all the concerns, and we brought forward new legislation. Right, so that's how we responded. As I said, in a matter of weeks, we had all the mitigations ready to implement this policy. But here, look, I'm talking to you now, and it's April. Why? Because Labour peers in the House of Lords have repeatedly voted against and blocked this bill. That happened just last week. Again, it will happen again today. And I think it's crystal clear that the country believes this is a priority.
If you do manage to start the flights to Rwanda, does that mean that the UK won't need to leave the ECHR?
So I'm confident that we're acting in a way that's completely compliant with all our international obligations, and we work very hard to deliver that. But what I'd say is we are a reasonable people trying to do a reasonable thing, and my patience, like the patience of the British people, is worn pretty thin at this point, and we're going to deliver this policy. And we've now not just worked very hard to do it in a compliant way. Parliament has also certified that, or will certify when this bill is passed, that Rwanda is safe. We've addressed all the concerns that have been raised with us from the Supreme Court and others. So at this point, now's the time for the flights to go. We processed more people last year than in the last 2 decades, right? So all of that should give people confidence that you can do something about this issue, right? If you put your mind to it, you're prepared to go through all this detail and be bold when it comes to solutions like Rwanda, you can get a grip of this problem, right? We're not there yet by any means, right? But the plan is working. Last year showed, and all those numbers I just gave you show that the plan is working, but we've got to finish the job, right? We can't, as you saw this year, we've got this increase in Vietnamese. That's the new issue. Last year it was Albanians, or year before it was Albanians. We dealt with the Albanians. We will deal with illegal migrants from Vietnam, but we can't keep playing this whack-a-mole strategy, dealing with it in a piecemeal fashion. You need a systematic deterrent. That's why the Rwanda scheme is so important. That's why the team they're all here, because they've all been working very hard across government to get this up and running. It's not just about me. This is about the government collectively delivering for the British people on an issue that they care about.
Peter Cardwell, Talk TV. The Rwandan President, Paul Kagame, you met him recently. He has said that money could be returned if this scheme doesn't work. We know the Buwiza housing development, 70% of that housing development has been sold. It was originally meant to be from people who were sent to Rwanda. You've talked about the preparation a lot on the UK side. You've talked a little bit about the Rwandan side. How confident are you that even though the migrants might be on board, that the Rwandans still are?
Yeah, so I met President Kagame just the other week when he was in London. We have a very good, close relationship, and we're very lucky. Our Deputy Foreign Secretary, Andrew, has a very long-standing relationship with the Rwandans and the Rwandan government, and has been crucial in making sure that we work well together. But to your point, Peter, they're doing absolutely everything that is required to make sure that this scheme is successful. Just to give you a sense of that, they've got initial reception accommodation centres ready Hope Hostel being the first one, and longer-term accommodation beyond that will provide accommodation for thousands. The Home Office have now helped to train, I think at last count, 69 different Rwandan asylum decision makers. There are almost 40 Rwandan lawyers that are ready to provide extra legal assistance. Judges have also been trained. The co-presidents of the new appeal body in the treaty have already been selected, and the Joint Monitoring Committee has already been set up. So thanks to Andrew and the Home Office's work, I think we're in very good shape, actually, and Paul is completely committed to making this partnership work. Whenever we've needed something from them, when we've had to address concerns that have been raised by our courts, they've been willing to work with us. We've done it constructively and collaboratively. And I think the question you should ask, and Andrew spoke to this morning, is why? Why? Because Rwanda cares about tackling this issue, right? It has proudly already hosts more than 135,000 people seeking safety. They're as passionate as we are about ending this awful global illegal migration crisis. They've got a proud track record working with the UN for Libyan refugees, for example. And this is an opportunity for us to strengthen not just our economic relationship with them, but work together with them to help do something that many other countries, by the way, are looking at as a potential model.
Prime Minister, Chris Mason from BBC News. You're acknowledging explicitly today that your initial promise to get flights off to Rwanda this spring isn't going to happen. So there will be a scepticism about your capacity to deliver. Can you be certain that by the time of the general election you'll be able to prove that this policy is a deterrent?
Thanks, Chris. Look, I'm not going to get into the timing of the general election again. I'll just refer to what I said previously. But what I would say is that we expect the first flight to go in 10 to 12 weeks. Of course, that's later than we wanted, but we know the reason for that. It's that the Labour Party has consistently and at every turn blocked and opposed this bill going through Parliament. That happened again last week. It will happen again today, after we moved very quickly last year to bring forward this bill and a new treaty to make it clear that Rwanda is safe. Now, also, though, it's important that we do this properly. Right? There are going to be people, as we've seen, at every turn who try and oppose us and undermine us, and that's why we should prepare and implement this thoroughly. For example, we want to make sure that the quality of the decision-making is absolutely great, because in the past people have raised concerns with that and used that as an excuse to frustrate the policy. That's why it's important that we've trained people and we take the time to make those decisions very rigorously. But also, as I said, this isn't just about one flight, right? Yeah, could you rush and get one flight off? Maybe you could, but that's not the priority here. The priority is being able to deliver a regular rhythm, a drumbeat of multiple flights a month over the summer and beyond, because that's how you build a systematic deterrent, and that's how you will stop the boats.